What is going on, everybody? It's the Frost, and we're here for Unscripted episode number 109 for your Sunday, March 1st, 2020. Coming off a fantastic Revolution pay-per-view with a new AEW World Heavyweight Champion. The best tag team match since I think DIY versus the Revival and TakeOver Toronto, which was a fantastic match in and of itself. Orange Cassidy shutting up every hater and naysayer. MJF sneakily beating Cody. Cody getting a neck tattoo for whatever goddamn reason. And so much more than happened last night. But usually, as we do on here, Raw, SmackDown, AEW, NXT, and all that, and SmackDown reviews and all that, fuck all that. This is not going to be that show today. We're not doing news. We're not doing any of this stuff. We're going off the cuff. Today, it's one of those days where I want to go back in the history of WWE. This is all leading from what happened on Thursday. WWE, if I can put this up. Remember this picture. Remember this scene. Monday Night Raw, the night after TLC 2018. Vince McMahon comes out, Triple H comes out, Stephanie and Shane all come out. They apologize to the fans. They sit there pretty much with their hand behind their back, fingers crossed behind their back, as they sit there and spout out lie after lie after lie after lie. We are the authority. We're going to see new faces. We're going to see new matchups. We're going to see just great things coming forward for Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live at the time. Yes, we got some new faces. We had Lacey Evans. We had Nikki Cross, EC3, Heavy Machinery. And then they put Lars Sullivan on there. That's a story for a different time. But what did we really get? We got Seth Rollins, who at the time was the most over guy in the company, coming out winning the Royal Rumble. Yes. We also had Becky Lynch win the Women's Royal Rumble, and they went to WrestleMania. We got Kofi Mania. All from us. All from fans wanting something, and WWE could not deny it. But what else did we get? Shane McMahon on TV every single week, winning, turning heel, beating Roman Reigns, beating The Miz 3 times, making The Miz look terrible, look like a fucking joke. It's just 2019 was awful. Then AEW started up. AEW gave us different. It gave us change. It gave us guys, men and women. It gave us like John Moxley, Chris Jericho going out there reinventing themselves and showing us there's a different side of a fence that is greener than WWE. Halfway through the year last year, Vince McMahon puts out a press release announcement that Eric Bischoff and Paul Heyman have become executive directors of Raw and SmackDown respectively. Why? Simple. Because Vince McMahon got sick and tired of being blamed for everything. Everything was his fault. Every fan knows that it was his fault. We still know that everything that happens on here is Vince McMahon's fault. But he put him out there to say, hey look, if Raw and SmackDown go bad, it's not my fault, it's Eric Bischoff or Paul Heyman's. Bischoff didn't last, he gets replaced by Bruce Pritchard, but still, it still remains the same. And pretty much they were put on TV to be, hey guys, if Raw sucks, it ain't Vince McMahon's fault, it ain't old Vinnie Mac's fault, it's Paul Heyman because Paul Heyman's in charge. But here's the thing, we know better. We all know that they still answer to Vince McMahon, and everything you see on TV is a Vince McMahon decision. You have people arguing about what happened on Thursday was justifiable. Having Shitberg beat The Fiend. Not just beat him, but beat him decisively, burying the Mandible Claw, which guys like Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, Daniel Bryan, The Miz, all these guys, Kane, Mick Foley, Braun Strowman, Kurt Angle, all put this move over as being a devastating maneuver for one piece of shit, pathetic, selfish son of a bitch to bury it 6 feet under. Then you have people sitting there saying, oh, the Fiend's not over to care. Yet the Fiend is the highest selling merch person in the company. He might not. The effects of what happened on Thursday might not be felt now, but this is going down the same route of a Zack Ryder, who everybody loves. Zack Ryder back in the day, back a couple years ago. They wanted We Want Ryder chants everywhere they went. Even at house shows, we heard We Want Ryder chants. Then we got Ryder, and he won the United States Championship. And then they continued. They went to embarrass him and just continue to beat him and make him look like a complete, utter loser. To the point where all those chants for Zack Ryder, they died and died and died and died. 1,000 deaths. Yes, the Fiend might be getting cheered now still. But then you have him come off on Friday. Friday happens. What did they do with the Fiend? Was there a Firefly Funhouse with Bray Wyatt talking about the world champion, losing the Universal title, and how Bill Goldberg got lucky, and I will be getting the title back eventually. But for now, I have other fish to fry. No. You had John Cena come out on Friday at the end of the show and lie to fans' faces, telling us, "Oh well, I'm gonna do the right thing. WWE should be about the future. Should be about earning a spot at WrestleMania. You work 365 days a year to get to WrestleMania." What does he do 30 seconds after he drops the mic? The Fiend comes out, does the cliche point to the sign, which, by the way, the Fiend should never do. Because you start doing that, you're just another character on WWE's television. Having the Fiend point made him look stupid. But he just points, John Cena looks back, looks back at him, and nods that he's accepted a match at WrestleMania. Why? Why? You just got done telling us 30 seconds beforehand that you aren't going to sit there and take a spot from somebody at WrestleMania. A young up-and-coming star or a young star who doesn't get a chance to go to WrestleMania. You took that spot away because you're John Cena and you're a fucking liar. Then there's the Roman Reigns initiative. Since Roman Reigns was brought up to WWE television in November of 2012, there was always going to be this big plan that he's going to work with the Shield for now, get his rips in, get his licks in, and then after the Shield is done, whenever that's going to be, it could have been 2013, it could have been 2015, but it was in the spring of 2014 that the Shield was ending. We're going to have that slow first year run, and then we're going to strap the rocket to his ass and send him to the moon. That's what WWE has done. And from 15, 16, 17, and 18, Roman Reigns main evented every single WrestleMania. And every single WrestleMania outside of WrestleMania 31 has been an absolute travesty. The end of each show, WrestleMania 31's finish was fine, but the simple fact is they had Seth Rollins go out there, cash in Money in the Bank, which at the time, when the show was over, I was like, really? But then I sat back and thought that was actually pretty fucking awesome that they did that. So, Roman Reigns, coming out of 2018, was gone. He was gone for a while. He was out with leukemia. February of last year, he just so happened to come back ready for WrestleMania. Had Roman Reigns come back before the Royal Rumble, you bet your ass Vince McMahon would have had Roman Reigns win the 2019 Royal Rumble, go to WrestleMania, and challenge for the Universal Championship, win the Universal Championship, and main event his 5th WrestleMania in a row. So the women, Charlotte, Becky, and Ronda, should be thankful that Roman Reigns was not able to main event WrestleMania. But here we go. We have the Royal Rumble happen. Drew McIntyre wins it. Gets to pick Brock Lesnar. He picks Brock Lesnar. That's awesome. Should be great. That should be your main event because the winner of the Royal Rumble is always said to be the main event of WrestleMania. But in actuality, last year's main event, which was Becky versus Charlotte versus Ronda, which should have been just Becky versus Ronda, that was the first time a Royal Rumble winner was in the main event since WrestleMania 31. Because Roman Reigns has main evented every single year since WrestleMania 31. But we're going down this entire WrestleMania, this road to WrestleMania. We know the Elimination Chamber is coming up in March. It's on my birthday, actually. It is next Sunday. And we're all wondering who's going to be in the Elimination Chamber because SmackDown's obviously getting the Elimination Chamber because Drew McIntyre is Raw and he won and picked Brock Lesnar. So usually that does mean that we're going to get an Elimination Chamber so to find out who goes to WrestleMania. Unfortunately, WWE decides we're going to cancel that Elimination Chamber because all of us fans knew with the Elimination Chamber who was going to win. Roman Reigns. So WWE decided we're going to cancel that, go with a tag team elimination chamber, which, by the way, the last 2 tag team elimination chamber matches were fucking awful. I mean, the women did have one last year. That was the second one. That was awful until we got to the final 2 teams. The first men's elimination chamber was fucking awful. But we have a tag team elimination chamber. Why? Because WWE knew if they put a Braun Strowman in there, a John Cena in there, Daniel Bryan in there, anybody else, and Roman Reigns in there, besides Baron Corbin, and you had Roman Reigns go through every single person in the Elimination Chamber to win, that Roman Reigns would come out looking worse than he did going in. So what did they do? Goldberg comes out, Shitberg comes out, says it's not about who's last, it's about who's next, and then out comes Roman Reigns. He says, you know what? I'm next. Hasn't done anything to earn a championship opportunity. Then you have Christian Miracle saying, oh, well, he didn't lose the championship. He's won more on SmackDown. That doesn't warrant a championship match. Feuding with Baron Corbin for 7 fucking months does not warrant you a championship opportunity. Roman Reigns has not done a goddamn thing to earn a match at WrestleMania. Like John Cena said, even though he was a lying motherfucker in the end, going to WrestleMania, you should have to earn a spot. Tell me what the fuck Roman Reigns has earned to be at WrestleMania. Nothing. Because he's Vince McMahon's little lapdog. Vince McMahon's little golden boy. He doesn't have to do shit. He could have eliminated he could have went out there and kicked somebody in the nuts and be like, oh, that's a championship opportunity for him. It's fucking pathetic that beating Baron Corbin in a cage match is equal, if not greater, than winning the Royal Rumble. Now, going to the Elimination Chamber and winning that is just as equal to winning the Royal Rumble because you go through 5 other men or women, because it's a women's elimination chamber, which we'll get to that in a second. And you have to go through 5 other men in a grueling chamber. Is it as great as beating 29 of the superstars? No, because usually the winner isn't there till the end, from the beginning to the end. That's just not how this works. But to have Roman Reigns not even have to earn a championship opportunity, while Drew McIntyre did, while Shayna Baszler is going to have to. If rumors are true, we're going to have another women's elimination chamber match, which is overkill, by the way. Having that woman also earn a title opportunity, having Charlotte earn a title opportunity against Rhea Ripley, you have these 5 championship matches right here. The 3 women and the 2 men's, and everybody but Roman Reigns will have earned a championship opportunity. That's if there is a women's elimination chamber for the SmackDown side. We don't know that yet. Just like Sheamus saying something about being in the elimination chamber when he's not, Lacey Evans said the same thing the week before. And it's not true as far as we know because they haven't announced anything yet. By the way, of course, as we know, the elimination chamber is next week. So Monday is going to be the go-home show. I guarantee it's not even going to feel like a go-home show. Friday is a go-home show. I bet you it's not going to feel anything like a go-home show. Everything but like this day right here, December 2018, the day after TLC, when these four jabronis went on television and lied to our faces. We still feel it to this day. It's been a year plus later. And you've had Shane McMahon from November of 2018 all the way to October of 2019, just killing the company, killing the TV shows. It's funny how in 2016, I think it was this month, 2016, beginning of March, Shane McMahon comes back to the biggest return pop of the last 2 decades, it feels like, or the last decade at least. And then in 3 short years later, we wanted Shane McMahon gone from wrestling. Just Shane McMahon needed to go. WWE doesn't know how to book anything. Bray fucking Wyatt, last year, he was gone. He disappeared, I believe, at the end of 2018, or the middle of 2018. Went off, had a child with JoJo. Congratulations to them, whatever. He was gone for so long. Who knew what was going to happen to Bray Wyatt? But he comes back. They start airing these vignettes of a buzzard and this doll. And it's like, what the hell is this for? We didn't get the Firefly Funhouse. What the hell was this? What the hell was the Firefly Funhouse? It was different. It was change, something that we needed in WWE, something WWE has been lacking. Characters that are different in WWE. From the days of a Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Triple H, Mankind, The Undertaker, Kane. You didn't have really anything new. But Bray Wyatt brought a sense of freshness and something new, all from him. All from Wyndham Rotunda. And it was just different. It was great. The Firefly Funhouse sketches were great. And then we met The Fiend. And the first time you saw The Fiend, if you weren't creeped out by The Fiend, then I don't know what the hell you were watching. The mask came on, and all this, and it just was creepy as hell. He takes out Finn Balor at SummerSlam with one of the creepiest things I have ever seen was a lantern. The lantern, the old Bray Wyatt lantern was replaced with Bray Wyatt's face. Old face. Covered over top of it, eyes sewed shut, mouth open, that's what the lantern light was. It was fucking awesome. Then people, of course, were like, oh, well, he doesn't use that lantern at house shows. And I'm like, why would he? A lantern like that is meant to be used for big-time matches at big-time events like a SummerSlam, or even if it was at a TV match. But we're going on this, and all of a sudden, there's rumors that Bray Wyatt is going to be facing the Universal Champion at Hell in a Cell. I, along with everyone else, was like, this should not happen. There's no fucking way Bray Wyatt's character is ready for this match. There's no reason to give this guy a Universal Championship match. He should not be getting a Universal Championship match till WrestleMania. The Fiend should have been the thing to win the Royal Rumble or win the Elimination Chamber, going to WrestleMania and winning the WWE Championship or Universal Championship, but since he's on SmackDown, to be Universal. But they didn't do that. They put him in this match, but on the way, ruining Seth Rollins. Because what did they do with Seth Rollins? Seth Rollins hurt himself too. Seth Rollins was going out there and talking shit on the fans, calling the fans crybabies, marks. And it's like, Seth Rollins is supposed to be this big over babyface. But you go out there and you tell us that our opinion doesn't matter and you just shit all over the fans. Of course they were going to turn on you. But also, what did they do? Seth Rollins watches the Fiend come down and he's in the corner crying. You see him cowering away from the Fiend. Tears coming down this guy's eyes. You made the Universal Champion at the time look like a punk. Why would anybody get behind Seth Rollins as a babyface? You turned him into the biggest sniveling crybaby I have ever seen. So what do? We get to Hell in a Cell. We have this match going on. Seth Rollins is beating the brakes off of the Fiend, but he keeps getting up. And he keeps getting up. And he keeps getting up. The dude gets hit with a toolbox. All this shit gets thrown on top of him. Seth Rollins goes to get a sledgehammer. And the referee's like, no. Don't you dare fucking do this, Seth. Don't do it. Don't do it. So Seth Rollins hits a piece of metal. Doesn't even come close to touching the Fiend. The referee rings the bell. The Fiend loses by referee stoppage. That was strike number one. Strike number one on the Fiend. The mystique of the Fiend takes its first hit. The chink in the armor comes in because Vince McMahon booked himself into a situation he couldn't handle. The reason the Fiend, who even eventually won the match, won the title in Saudi Arabia, the reason the Fiend didn't walk away as champion is simple. The draft was coming up. Brock Lesnar was still the WWE champion. Oh, not yet. Well, yeah. The Brock Lesnar was just got the WWE championship, and WWE needed to draft Brock Lesnar to SmackDown, so the WWE champion would be on SmackDown for now. And Seth Rollins was Universal Champion, so they needed to put the Universal Championship on Raw. The only reason the Fiend did not win the championship on that night is because of the fucking draft. So they drafted the Fiend to SmackDown, drafted Seth Rollins to Raw. They went to Saudi Arabia. The Fiend beat Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship. And so the next night on SmackDown, what happened? Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman came out. Brock Lesnar, quote unquote, quit SmackDown and went back to Monday Night Raw. So you put a chink in the Fiend's armor because you couldn't book your shows right. Because you had to have both championships on either other brand. And because the Fiend needed to be on SmackDown and Lesnar needed to be on fucking Raw. This company, just so much bad booking. We keep going. The Fiend looks dominant in his feud with The Miz, which it wasn't even the Fiend, it was Bray Wyatt. He takes out Daniel Bryan, takes the hair off of Daniel Bryan's head, cuts his hair down. Daniel Bryan looks like a new man. Fiend moves on to strap match. That strap match at the Royal Rumble was fine. It wasn't a bad match. It was a strap match. It's like you can't really have a bad strap match between Daniel Bryan and the Fiend. But then the talk of the Fiend in Saudi Arabia. Who's going to take on the Fiend at Saudi Arabia? And it turned out to be Goldberg. The Shitsburg. The worst person to have the Fiend go up against. For weeks and months, the Fiend has looked dominant. He has taken out legends. He has taken out current stars. He has made the WWE Universal Championship look fucking good. It could have been one of the best title reigns we have ever seen. And what did WWE do? We get to Saudi Arabia. We get to Super Slut Down. And they have the Fiend get speared. Two mandible claws broken up. They didn't affect Goldberg, which is fucking bullshit. And this selfish, self-righteous prick just goes in there, and people are like, "Oh, it's the booking. Vince McMahon books this shit." If this shitty fucking person had a fucking brain or cared about the fucking business, you go to Vince McMahon and it's like, "Hey, Vince, this isn't a good idea. This is going to hurt this guy. I don't think this match should happen here. I'll lay down for him, blah, blah, blah." But he's not going to do that. Are you kidding me? Name me one fucking person that this asshole, this son of a bitch, has put over, not named Brock Lesnar or The Undertaker. I'll wait for it. This goes all the way back to 2016 when was 17. After he destroyed Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series in a minute, less than a minute. We go to Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho. They're having the hottest angle on TV, and Kevin Owens is the Universal Champion. They should be going to WrestleMania to settle their beef in a match for the Universal Championship. But no, this guy comes in, and Vince McMahon goes, "Well, we want to do Brock Lesnar versus the shittiest fucking worker in wrestling history. This guy, looking back on his career, fucking sucks. He has done nothing but bring this entire industry down. My dad thinks that, he held WCW on his back, which is absolutely bullshit. This guy is nothing but a cancer to wrestling and should not be allowed to be in the ring again. Fuck his Hall of Fame. I can understand now why Triple H and Shawn Michaels and others could not stand this guy, because he did so much with nothing." People gripe on Alexa Bliss for being a multi-time women's champion when she has hardly done anything in the wrestling business, but this guy has done nothing but bring this company down, bring down wrestling as a whole. He sucks in the ring. He sucks on the microphone. This guy has been nothing but a complete and utter cancer. And WWE just let him become a 2-time Universal Champion at 53 years old. On top of that, what else happened on that Saudi Arabian show? Undertaker coming out, hitting AJ Styles with one move and winning. Now, AJ Styles getting hit and buried like that, it's not really a burial because AJ Styles is AJ Styles. He's a made man. He's a big time star who wasn't created by WWE. 2-time WWE champion, 371-day reign as his second title reign. AJ Styles has done so much that WWE can't kill AJ Styles. But Ricochet? Oh boy, Ricochet. This dude was... I remember seeing him in What Culture Pro Wrestling. Him and his girlfriend at the time, Tessa Blanchard, going up against Bea Priestley and Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay versus him, breaking a top rope at one of their pay-per-views. The dude was awesome. He was great in NXT, minus his using the microphone, which I don't know who the fuck scripted his shit. But this guy could have been the next big star in WWE. There was so much hype when Ricochet when he signed with WWE and he made his debut. Hell, that 6-man ladder match, his first match in NXT, was phenomenal, and he was a big part of it. Comes up to the main roster, very protected by him and Aleister Black before WrestleMania. They get to WrestleMania, and after WrestleMania, they split him up. Ricochet stays on Raw for a minute, Aleister Black goes to SmackDown. Then what happens? They brought Aleister Black and then they go over to Raw. So WWE just mismanages Ricochet, books him so poorly that this guy, it's hard to care about a Ricochet. If Ricochet went back down to NXT and was treated the way he was in NXT the first time, it'd be a different story. If this guy's contract came up and he went to AEW, he would be a huge star. You would see matches against Pentagon Jr., Nick Jackson, Ray Phoenix, Hangman Page, Kenny Omega, so many others. He could go back and work with New Japan probably still as well. There's just so much that Ricochet could have been to this company, and it's been wasted. It's been absolutely wasted. And then he goes in against Brock Lesnar. And even Finn Balor lasted longer than this. Daniel Bryan and Brock Lesnar. AJ Styles, Brock Lesnar. CM Punk, Brock Lesnar. All of these matches meant so much more. And had you on the edge of your seat that maybe, just by a smidgen of a chance, that Brock Lesnar would lose that title. Even though we knew, 99.9% of us knew that Brock Lesnar was not losing that match. But there's a part of us was thinking, maybe, just maybe, it's that time Brock Lesnar loses. But no, what happened? Ricochet gets 0 offense in, Suplex, 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 F5, 1, 2, 3. Why? What's the point of the fucking match? I'm starting to fear, too, that because WWE, Vince McMahon is this fucking pathetic, he doesn't want anybody else to get that big pop that Roman Reigns, he wants Roman Reigns to get on at WrestleMania. I would not put it past Vince McMahon to have Drew McIntyre job to Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. What you saw against Ricochet, what you saw to Ricochet on Thursday, it would not surprise me if that's the fate of Drew McIntyre. I would not put it past WWE to do that. Because Vince McMahon is a petty motherfucker. And he only wants Roman Reigns to be that guy who is at the top of the game, at the top of the mountain. Everyone else is less. Shitberg versus Roman Reigns is going to be an awful match. John Cena versus The Fiend, I don't care. I shouldn't care. I should care, but I don't. Why should we care? Because one of two things is going to happen. Either John Cena again beats The Fiend in a very competitive match, because last time it was a competitive match. Or two, The Fiend gets a win back that, honestly, who cares? Why should we as fans care if The Fiend gets a win back 6 years in the making? Having the championship on the line, John Cena trying to get number 17, which apparently the only reason that it probably didn't happen is because John Cena doesn't want number 17. He doesn't want to beat Ric Flair's number. He's content with keeping the record at 16. But having this match happen, nobody's going to care. Roman Reigns' match, I know exactly how they're going to do this entire feud. The entire feud is going to be the same thing it was for Brock Lesnar. Remember the last feud that Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns had? Where, Brock Lesnar isn't... Roman Reigns comes out, he talks shit on Brock Lesnar. Oh, I'm a full-time guy, this is a part-time guy. He doesn't give a shit about the business. I do. I've been here every day in and day out. That's the same thing they're going to fucking do here. Why? Because Goldberg's a part-timer who doesn't give a fuck about the business, and Roman Reigns is here, he busts his ass day in and day out. That match is going to fucking suck. Instead of giving us a match with two guys who are younger, and can fucking go, and we could probably get a decent match out of it, even though Roman Reigns versus The Fiend would have been a terrible match probably anyway. But you give us this match, a 53-year-old who is 3 years older than the last time he had a meaningful match. So why should we care? Tell me, why should we fucking care about that match? Somebody, I don't know, I didn't see it where it was at, but apparently Bray Wyatt, somebody asked Bray Wyatt, is WWE trying to destroy characters? And Bray Wyatt said yes on Twitter, because that's exactly what they do. Vince McMahon has been doing this for decades. He gets a nice new toy. Vince McMahon is a spoiled brat who gets a nice new toy, plays with it for as long as he wants to, gets bored with that toy, and wants a new one. And that is Bray Wyatt to a T. Bray Wyatt was this nice, the Fiend was this nice shiny toy that Vince McMahon loved to play with. He was playing with him, he was enjoying it, he threw him around, busted his ass, and beat, and then, you know what? I'm done with him, time to move on. And that's exactly what we have here. Now you just look at Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda, and this guy went away. He was injured, he had a kid, he recuperated his body, he healed himself up, lost some weight, by the way, went out there with all the creative juices in his body. He came up with something completely different that you don't see on television anywhere else. He came up with the Fiend, the essence of his darkness, who is going out there and going to extract revenge on everyone who has done him wrong, which has been everybody outside. I don't know what the whole Miz thing was. I don't know if he actually did anything wrong to him. But like Seth Rollins is fine. Finn Balor, Daniel Bryan made all the sense in the world. John Cena makes sense, but the championship should be on the line because that helps tell the story even better. And he goes out there and he shows us his creative power. But what happens? Vince McMahon gets a hold of it and wants to do it himself. If Wyndham Rotunda went to AEW and did this entire Firefly Funhouse thing with The Fiend and himself, this would have been so bad, much better. Hell, The Fiend as the Exalted One would be better than what they're doing here with him. But you just kind of feel bad for this dude. He goes out there, gives us everything that he has ever worked for, and only for it to be crushed, for it to be destroyed, for the Fiend to not matter as much as it has before. Like I said, the Fiend might be getting cheered now, but when the Fiend came out on Friday, it wasn't as loud as usual. Those cheers are going to start dying away. If he loses to John Cena at WrestleMania, the Fiend will be absolutely done. There will be no recovering the Fiend. If the Fiend loses to John Cena, and here's the thing, if he beats John Cena, what happens with the Fiend next? That's simple. We're going to have Roman Reigns versus the Fiend anyway. Then what happens? The Fiend's not going to beat Roman The Fiend's not going to beat Roman. The Fiend will be fed to Roman with 3 pay-per-views in a row. May, June, and July. August will be somebody else for Roman Reigns if they could find somebody to build up. The Fiend will be fed to Roman. Having the Fiend beat John Cena at WrestleMania with the title on the line would have meant so much more than having the Fiend beat Cena, for the Fiend to go into a championship feud with Roman Reigns, only to have the Fiend continue to get beat. It's going to happen. Those cheers might still be there, but as we continue to go, the Fiend is going to lose to Roman again and again and again, and then what happens? But I told you, and we're getting up on that. By the time we get to Hell in a Cell 2020, the Fiend's cheers will be gone. There will be zero reaction to the Fiend, and everything that Bray Wyatt worked for, everything that he gave us, will be dead. Will be absolutely dead. Now, as we move on to this road to WrestleMania, there has been talk for months. When is Shayna Baszler going to make her debut on Monday Night Raw? When is she going to come up and be the feud that Becky Lynch needs? Because outside of Charlotte, Asuka, Kairi Sane, Becky Lynch has nobody. So Shayna Baszler makes her main roster debut, her Royal Rumble debut, coming out for the Women's Royal Rumble and coming in as runner-up. Since Charlotte Flair won the Women's Royal Rumble, every single fucking week it shows that was the wrong booking decision. Like, let's see. She did not challenge Becky Lynch. She did not challenge Bayley. So why is she winning the Royal Rumble? Oh, well, it's the only way they could give her the challenge Rhea Ripley. No, it's not. There are so many ways they could have done this. First, Shayna Baszler wins the Royal Rumble. Charlotte Flair comes out on the next night, knowing she has no path to WrestleMania. She could bitch, she could moan, she could cry, she could complain that, hey, Shayna Baszler shouldn't have been in the match. She's an NXT woman. She's not supposed to be here. They could have did so many more things to give Shayna Baszler the championship opportunity. That would have gave you the Women's Elimination Chamber for SmackDown, which if you look at the balance of SmackDown and Raw's women's divisions, SmackDown does have the stronger one with Lacey Evans, even though, okay, it's not that big. Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, Bayley, Sasha Banks. Compared to Raw, who has all 3 members of the Riot Squad, which pretty much the only one of those that really matters is Ruby Riott, Asuka, Kairi Sane, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte. But anyway, so Shayna Baszler comes up. She picks Becky Lynch. Since Becky Lynch was picked by Shayna Baszler, Charlotte knows that she can't go and do anything to go challenge Bayley because she's a SmackDown superstar, and SmackDown superstars are contracted to Fox. They can't be on Raw. And Raw superstars are contracted to USA. They can't be on SmackDown because it's on Fox. So Charlotte, for weeks, wants a way to get into this championship match. Wants to get into this championship match on Raw, and is denied over and over and over again. Then TakeOver Portland happens. The match happens. We don't have any indication of what's going to happen for Charlotte Flair. That match happens just the way it did. Nothing changes on that match. The match attack afterwards happens as well. But instead of her deciding that she is going to face Rhea Ripley after Rhea Ripley challenges her, which was absolutely fucking stupid, there is no reason that Rhea Ripley should be going out and challenging Charlotte Flair. What you do then is that you have Charlotte Flair attack her as she did, but instead of saying that she made her mind up, she says, I may not be able to go for the Raw title, women's title, I may not be able to go for the SmackDown women's title, but I'm going to challenge you, Rhea Ripley, to a match at WrestleMania for the NXT Women's Championship. And she say whatever she has to say, throws the mic down, beats up Bianca Belair as she did, and then walks off. Then Rhea Ripley shows up on Monday and accepts the challenge. No doubt about it. And there you go. I just saved WWE a lot of time in their booking. It made no sense to have Rhea Ripley come to Monday Night Raw and be like, you know what? You shouldn't challenge one of them. You should challenge me because you haven't beaten me. That made no fucking sense. Why a champion is challenging the challenger from the Royal Rumble made no sense. Vince McMahon doesn't know how to book his shows. If I can come up with something that was much better, that would have been much better. Because then Shayna Baszler wins the Royal Rumble, and the Elimination Chamber that we have coming up, which makes no fucking sense. Look at the Women's Elimination Chamber. You have Sarah Logan. Why the fuck is she in there? What has she done to earn this opportunity? Liv Morgan. Wasn't she just feuding with Lana over being her lesbian lover denied? What has she done to earn a championship opportunity? Ruby Riott just came back. What has she done to earn a right to try and go for the championship? Asuka and Shayna Baszler. Who do you think's going to win that match? Elimination Chambers is supposed to be the 6th best you have. And unfortunately, Raw does not have a 6th best for women. All 3 members of the Riot Squad, the original Riot Squad, Asuka and Shayna Baszler and Natalya. Please. The only other one besides Shayna Baszler who could even be suggested could be the women go to WrestleMania to face Becky Lynch. It's Asuka. If that Elimination Chamber does not come down to Shayna Baszler and Asuka, you are doing a disservice to both of those women. This company just does not get it. Again, it shows that the Women's Royal Rumble match should have been won by Shayna Baszler. Charlotte Flair had no business winning the Rumble. I know Vince McMahon has won it since the Women's Royal Rumble was announced 2 years ago. When the first Women's Royal Rumble happened 2 years ago, Vince McMahon wanted to get Charlotte Flair that accolade, but they couldn't do it in the first year because Charlotte Flair was the SmackDown Women's Champion, and you weren't going to take the title off of her just to win the Rumble. Last year, spoiler alert, Charlotte Flair was supposed to win the Women's Royal Rumble, but couldn't because Becky Lynch got so hot that if she did not win the Royal Rumble, you were probably going to ruin the rest of that Royal Rumble that Royal Rumble. Because people would have been pissed. It would have been Daniel Bryan-esque level of heat for him not being in the Royal Rumble in 2015. So that was 2 years that Vince McMahon had to hold off making Charlotte Flair a Royal Rumble winner. Then we come to this year, and Vince McMahon could not hold it off any longer. Even though it again shows how the Royal Rumble should not have been won, and they show it every single goddamn week that that Shayna Baszler should have won the Royal Rumble. Because you made an Elimination Chamber match that is so fucking pointless. We know she's going to win. We know she's going to dominate. It's going to come down to her. It should come down to her and Asuka. And then we'll see what happens from there. How much those two can go out there and beat the fuck out of each other. The two most dominant women in NXT's history. Get rid of the Elimination Chamber. Just give me Asuka versus Shayna Baszler in a 30-minute submission match. And that will do for me. This company just does not care about its fans. I know that. You know that. It's not fucking right that we're going to have to sit there and see a WrestleMania. And by the way, Brock Lesnar versus Drew McIntyre is the money match over the two matches that they have for Universal and WWE Championship. Brock Lesnar versus Drew McIntyre is a much more interesting and a much more bigger draw than Shitberg and Roman Reigns. It's just true. I don't care who they think the casual fans want to see. I guarantee you the main event of this pay-per-view has got to be Drew McIntyre versus Brock Lesnar, but it won't be. It won't be. 5 times out of 6 years, Roman Reigns is going to main event WrestleMania. And you want to know something? Roman Reigns is going to come out of WrestleMania 36 hated like he was before leukemia. I am so sick and tired of people using the excuse, oh, you can't boo this guy, he beat leukemia. Fuck that. Joe Onawale beat leukemia, not Roman Reigns. There's a difference. Joe is the human. Roman is the character. Roman Reigns wasn't diagnosed with leukemia. Joe came out in October 2018 and said, I have leukemia. He wasn't Roman Reigns at that time. He was Joe. He wasn't Roman. He was Joe. When he came back and he's Roman Reigns, that is not the same guy. You can boo the character. You don't boo the man. You boo the character. When he's Roman Reigns, you can boo him all you want. It's just, people are sitting there cheering this guy, putting on a fake face, a fake cheering when they don't like the guy because, oh, he beat leukemia. Who the fuck cares? Then you have people like attacking commentators or people because, oh, how could you be so cruel? This guy had cancer. How could you be like that? Fuck you. Who the fuck cares? It was a year ago. It is time to let the bullshit go. Roman Reigns did not beat cancer. Joe did. It's two different things. That's just like saying having Hayden Christensen play Anakin Skywalker, and say Hayden Christensen is like you don't like the way Anakin Skywalker was portrayed in the movies, and you hate those movies because of that. But you have to sit there and try and praise them because Hayden Christensen went through some kind of tragedy in his life, and it's like, what the fuck? If you don't like the character as it is, you don't have to like the character. If you don't, it's like you don't have to sit there and you don't have to be a fake fan to something and fanboy somebody or something because something bad happened to that person in life. Give me a fucking break. Joe is fighting leukemia. He's in remission for now because he's taking a special pill to keep it's one of those things, whatever. But if you want to boo Roman, you can. There were "you both suck" chants in the crowd. Guess what, Vince? Those are going to get bigger the longer you go. If you book this feud the way you did with Brock Lesnar last time Roman was champion, I have some bad news for you. No matter how much you keep him away from the championship, when you push him the way you did last time, it's going to backfire every single time. The match is gonna fucking suck. WrestleMania is gonna suffer for it. 14 matches on WrestleMania. Here's the fun part. If they announce this month that, oh, it's not gonna be on the network, it's gonna be on ESPN Plus, that's going to be the lowest selling WrestleMania. They have been calling it to be on the WWE network since they started advertising for it. And you're going to take that away and put it on ESPN Plus. That would be like when, what was it called? Metro last night, or Metro Exodus, went from Steam to the Epic Game Store last minute and became an Epic Game Store exclusive. You know how pissed off fans were? They went to the Steam page and started review bombing it before the game came out. Watch how stupid and how bad the stocks for WWE goes down. If Vince McMahon even thinks about pulling this shit off, where we don't like, where it's on the network, WrestleMania goes to ESPN Plus. Oh, I'm sorry. Fork over $65 for WrestleMania and the ESPN Plus subscription. Vince McMahon needs to learn that this is not going to work. Vince McMahon needs to learn that WWE is never going to be as popular as the UFC. WWE is never, ever, ever going to be one of those things where you could sit there and tell people 6 years after the network started, that we have to go from paying next to nothing to full price for a pay-per-view and $4.99 for ESPN Plus. On the grand scheme of things, if it was a like AEW could do that right now, and they would make bank. AEW would make fucking bank if they would do that, because they only have 4 pay-per-views a year. 4. All Out, Double or Nothing, Full Gear, Revolution. If those 2 names change or whatever, fine, whatever. They could do that because they spend the time to build up storylines. This is what was supposed to be great about pay-per-view, single-branded pay-per-views at the beginning of the brand split in 2016. You would have 2 months to build for your next pay-per-view, not just a month. Trying to build every 4 weeks for a pay-per-view is stupid. And it's why AEW is not going to do that. Now, yes, AEW had Bash at the Beach in January. They'll have Blood and Guts next month and probably something in April. But those are going to be fillers to get us to the next pay-per-view, which is Double or Nothing. WWE is going down a very, very bad road. And I'm not saying it all started when this little incident happened, but this is the era we're in with WWE. The supposedly fans or the authority. But yet, Shane McMahon was on TV for 6 to 9 months, being a big heel, being in all the major storylines, wrestled every single fucking pay-per-view from January to, I believe, October almost. It was ridiculous. For the first 5 or 6 months of last year, Shane McMahon was on pay-per-view in a major match. To Brock Lesnar winning the Money in the Bank. I forgot to mention that. Brock Lesnar winning Money in the Bank last year. Taking the Universal Championship for another reign in the SummerSlam. Having Seth Rollins beat him at SummerSlam. Which he was still over. But people started to sour on him because of his attitude towards others. From a Kenny Omega to a Will Ospreay to the fans. Why would you attack your fans? How could you attack your fans? How dare you try to attack your fans? That was not a bright idea for Seth Rollins. Just to everything else in this world being, it's just WWE is in their own bubble. And this is what happens when you make money. When you get too high up on a pedestal, which WWE is on a pedestal so high up, you get the part where they just coast. WWE is coasting. They don't have to do anything. WrestleMania sells itself. the Royal Rumble sells itself. SummerSlam practically sells itself. Survivor Series, not so much because it is an old dead concept. But when you have the ability to just say, WrestleMania's out there and people start buying tickets, Royal Rumble's coming, people start buying tickets even though you don't know who's in the Royal Rumble, you don't know what other matches is going on, you don't even know what matches are going on WrestleMania. I remember watching Monday Night Raw on the road to WrestleMania 21. And they talked about a ticket sales, the ticket sales party they did. Because back then they would have parties or have celebrations for WrestleMania tickets going on sale. And they would sell WrestleMania out in less than 2 minutes. That was WrestleMania 21 15 years ago. They can't even sell out Raymond James Stadium, and they won't sell out Raymond James Stadium. How far Vince McMahon's company has fallen since 2005. This company doesn't get it. This company just thinks they can coast and do whatever they want, and fans are just gonna lap it up and eat. Here's the thing: when you go to an event, if Vince McMahon comes out, if they see these crowd shots and the crowd is just bowing to him or they're singing his theme, you're giving him carte blanche to do whatever the fuck he wants. If he sends out Undertaker and you cheer for the Undertaker, you give him carte blanche to do whatever he wants. If Shitbird comes out and you cheer him or you chant his name, you give Vince McMahon carte blanche to do whatever he wants. Oh, the fans are cheering. Oh, they're chanting the name. Oh, they're cheering for these guys. It must be fine to bring them back whatever the fuck we want. John Cena came out on I knew they were in Boston. That's the reason they did it, because that was a hometown field for this guy. But you can't continue to cheer. When John Cena went out there and said, I'm doing the right thing, I'm not going to be at WrestleMania this year, I'm going to sit on the sidelines, fans booed that. You should have fucking cheered that. Because it would have been great to see John Cena actually keep word. As soon as he does his salute and the lights go down, the lights come back on, and the Fiend's back there, what do you people do? He points and you cheer. That's when you boo. You boo, you boo, you boo. Or, even better, you want to get Vince McMahon to change? When John Cena comes out, when Shitbird comes out, when any of the nostalgia acts come out, you zip your lip and you don't say a word. You don't cheer, you don't boo, you don't clap, you don't do anything. You make sure when they come out, you don't make a single sound. Why? Because if you're not getting a reaction at all, then you're not doing your job right. If you come out, if somebody comes out and gets zero reaction, that means that the fans don't care. The fans need to dictate how WWE does this, how WWE runs their company. As Vampiro said on an episode of Chris Van Vliet, the fans dictate who's over. The fans dictate how a company goes. If you're going to sit there and cheer for The Undertaker, people are like, oh, it's The Undertaker. It's all the respect that they have for him. No, it's not. The Undertaker lost all right to respect after he continued to come back. After he continues to come back and take spots from others. There was no reason for The Undertaker to come out on a super letdown and just bury AJ Styles and win that fucking terrible trophy. There was no reason for that. What does Undertaker have to do with AJ Styles anyway? Nothing. Having him go out there and bury AJ Styles like that on Thursday, makes you wonder, why are they having a match at WrestleMania? Who wants to see them have a match at WrestleMania when it's probably going to be more of the same? This company is never going to get better as long as we as fans allow them to do what they do. Until we do the right thing, and if you go to an event, and here's the thing. You want to really hurt Vince McMahon, you really want him to change, don't buy a ticket. Don't go to WrestleMania. Don't go to Access. Don't go to NXT TakeOver. Don't go to Raw this Monday. Don't go to SmackDown on Friday. Don't go to NXT. Don't go to any of these pay-per-views, anything they do. Don't waste your money. Use that money that you're going to go to these pay-per-views or these shows and take your kids out and have fun. If you're a single person, don't have kids, take your money, go out and have a good time. Go to the bar. Go somewhere else. It's kind of funny how Vince McMahon runs WWE and runs the XFL. You want to know which is the more entertaining product right now? XFL. The XFL, with the access to these players, they have better characters and better development in character and personality in the XFL than they have ever had in WWE in the last 10 years. It's funny watching these guys go out there jumping, having last week Carter of the Wildcats go into the end, flip into the end zone and then do a backflip and cheering and celebrating. There's so much more character build in the XFL because it's natural and real. That's funny. How guys in the XFL are going out there, having fun, balling, playing football. When they score, celebrating. The microphones are on. They're actually letting their personalities come out. And it's an entertaining 2.5 hours or 3 hours of football when we can't get that from Raw, SmackDown, and NXT's getting up there too. The pay-per-views suck, but it's funny that Vince McMahon's other product, which is his side product, is a better 3 hours of entertainment than Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and their pay-per-views combined into one. But I think I've talked enough here. Let me know in the comment section what you think. Did you think I went off a little bit of a tangent right there? Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Twitter at The France Club. Find me on Twitch.tv at The France Club. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for what is probably going to be a piss poor episode of Monday Night Raw. Until then, my name is The France, and I'll see you guys later.